Now, Meetings Africa is in full swing at the Sandton Convention Centre. It brings over 3,000 delegates, 300 exhibitors, and over 350 local and international buyers together to find ways to boost tourism in the region. Ntokozo Khumalo, our business reporter, is at that gathering and she joins us now live. Ntokozo, Meetings Africa is a term that we know well. It's an event that's been happening for many, many years now, perhaps longer than I care to remember, and it's an important one.
Good afternoon, Michelle. Indeed, Meetings Africa approaching 2 decades of bringing the conferencing and events industry together. And really, this year's focus is on building that success and driving it even further through building those quality connections. And to talk us through that, I am now joined by the Tourism Minister, Patricia. Thank you so much for talking to us. Now, you've had a very busy morning engaging with exhibitors here. Talk us through, with Meetings Africa really being a pan-African event, how does that help growth on the continent, but more specifically as well, South Africa's tourism industry?
Yes, this is definitely a pan-African showcase. More than 21 African countries represented here. We've got over 380 buyers that came from 52 countries around the world. So it's a great success and a great opportunity to show what we as Africans can put forward to the world. Last year, the impact of Meetings Africa in South Africa alone, we were able to get in 488 million rand. And I think this one will even be bigger because we've got over 3,000 delegates. But the value of this is to, as a continent, as Pan-Africanists, to come together to grow the continent's share of business tourism. Currently, we're only contributing about 3% in the world, and this conference is helping us also to showcase Africa, that we are able and we are capable to host any event anywhere in Africa.
And now when we look at the latest data out of Stats SA, it's showing 3 million travelers to South Africa in the last month through South African ports of entry. A lot of those visitors, international visitors, but most of them SADC region and the rest of the African continent. What does that tell us about the makeup of tourists that are coming to South Africa, and what percentage of that is business travelers?
Well, out of the 8.5 million that we received during the year of 2023, you're right, 6.4 million came from Africa, and we want to always thank them and show that we are grateful for that. This tourism business event that we're hosting now is to focus on the other side of one side you've got leisure and one side you've got business. So the value out of this Pan-African business conference that we're hosting now, the benefits is going to be spin-off to all the African countries. And if we as African countries can begin to do more around air access, flying in the continent, between African countries, doing more to relax our visa regimes, I think that will just further boost business tourism in Africa.
And we certainly saw that Airlines Village, different airlines across the continent really working together to see how that can be improved. Now, back to South Africa, we had some bids out, over 90 bids, securing about 19 of those, you'll correct me, that will bring substantial investments into the country as well as create those jobs. But Minister, we do still struggle with some structural issues, load shedding being one of those. How are we working with the industry, specifically SMEs, to be able to work around that and really take or make the most of the potential?
We're very proud that at Meetings Africa now we have sponsored and supported 25 SMMEs. They are here, they're able to sell their products, they promote themselves, we give them access to the market, and we continue to support SMMEs at all of these major events. Similarly, when we go to the Travel Indaba in Durban in May, Again, we will sponsor 130. And that is that in the value chain of tourism, SMMEs play a very critical role, but they also need to grow. And that is the value of supporting them. In terms of the structural issues like electricity, we would like to have our visitors coming to South Africa and have an uninterrupted visitor experience with no load shedding. And therefore, the Department of Tourism for 2024, we set aside 200 million rand to help small guest houses, hotels, help them to retrofit their building with PV solar panels so that, they're not that much affected by load shedding, and the same with water reduction. So government can't do it alone. So the private sector is also investing a lot in very aggressively marketing our country as a destination. And it's that combination of the partnership between public and private sector that we can begin to feel it's working and it's pushing this beautiful country of ours. We don't have a difficult sell. But there's lots of competition in Africa and around the world, and therefore Meetings Africa on the business side of tourism is going to inject billions of rands into the continent.
And we did speak to one lodge owner who was saying actually her clients are okay with there being load shedding because they actually want to wind down and just switch off. But speaking about bringing in and opening up that value chain, young people, we're seeing them getting into, curating those experiences and, curating experiences for other young entrepreneurs. What is their space in taking the industry forward?
Well, that is a main focus of this event also, where we have created a leadership forum for young people, because we want to hear their innovative ideas. They are a lot more creative, and we created an opportunity for them to come and display and tell us what new ideas. And I'm very happy with our winner for this year. The opportunity that we have created for her now, she can take that innovative idea of hers, and we're going to pay and sponsor her to go to a major trade fair in Frankfurt later this year. So the young people are really taking over, and they are so at ease with technology. They're very at ease with learning and improving on the booking systems and all of that. And you could see them on the floor here today. It's not the old style of marketing. Everything is online. No, the youth is a key sector in tourism that we are building and we are working with all the time.
And Minister, just finally, unemployment is an issue across the board, and I think that young person, I think it's Miss Francis that I did speak to a few weeks ago, but really highlighting the same issue that you go out and look for those opportunities, and tourism being one of those industries where you don't need a certain qualification, you can fit in there. A word of advice for South Africans who are perhaps looking for opportunities in the industry. Where do those opportunities lie, Minister?
About 80% of the unemployed people in South Africa are semi-skilled and unskilled. And that is the sector where tourism can play a major role, because the entry level for training in the hospitality sector, in the restaurant, the food sector, it's there. We are sponsoring young people to train as tour guides. We train them in interpretation, in German, in Mandarin, so that they can help our tourists around. We have also spent 174 million to employ 2,300 young people that we have deployed across the country as tourism safety monitors. And many of the young people are asking us, what subjects should I take at school, and where in my curriculum can I begin to study towards tourism. So yes, it is a sector that we can create a lot more jobs for our young people. And of course, we also provide the training courses for them.
Minister, thank you so much for talking to us. And of course, that's Tourism Minister Patricia de Lille, just talking us through this year's Meetings Africa, the theme being Africa's success through building quality connections, and just talking through how those quality connections should be built. Michelle, also the industry looking to deal with load shedding to ensure that young people and SMEs can continue to thrive despite those structural issues that the country does face. The meetings continue till tomorrow, so we are going to be listening in on some of the panels and give some insights on what's coming out of the tourism industry from Meetings Africa. It's back to you in studio for now, Michelle.
Ntokozo, Khumalo, live to us there at the Sandton Convention Centre. Thanks very much indeed.